All right. Well, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're in the world. My wonderful guests are coming from different parts of the world. I know it's early for Vaughn, LL, and myself, and it's really late for Sienna. I'm so grateful they're all willing to get up early or stay up late to join this chat. This is kind of a fanboy moment for me because I'm such a big fan of all of the writing of these three fabulous authors. They know that. I love to gush about their work. I make no secret how much I like it. One of the biggest reasons I can't help it that I'm drawn to their work is because, amongst all the other fabulous aspects of their books and their writing, they are they do exceptionally well at writing on what most people consider to be unlikable characters. So that's the topic of our discussion today. I myself, may have written an unlikable character or two. So I thought, it would be great for the four of us to kind of chat about that topic. Hopefully, you all watching will find it interesting. So clearly, again, it's a fanboy moment for me because I also love their works. But I'm gonna let them introduce themselves individually. Like I said, I don't want to steal that or spoil that. They're so
Oh
amazing.
no, not that again.
Please.
It's
I
like
will start
asking
with
me to write books.
LL.
Come on.
I'll start with LL.
I am LL Stevens. I write epic fantasy and a lot of other stuff, but my current series starts with this book, Sir Daniel, and it's the Triumvirate series, and it's finished. It's a complete series, and it's full of unlikable characters.
And it is awesome. Well, I read the first book, but totally enamored. So, yes, I would totally agree. Sienna.
Hi.สวัสดีค่ะ. I'm Sienna. My real name is Kajonwan. I'm Thai. I write fantasy and other stuff. I'm the author of the Obsidian series, which is a book about the 7 MCs, all unlikable. They're all assholes. I'm sorry.
Sienna, no book? Where's the book? Where's the book? Where's the book?
I don't have it. I forgot. I'm so bad at marketing. I'm sorry.
All right.
But
All right.
actually, I
All
don't
right.
have.
Oh, that's the
I
old
have
cover,
that
but
same version. I don't have the new cover, so I didn't
that's
want to show the old cover. But
yeah,
yes,
that's the
that's
old
the
cover.
old cover. You have the
Right.
collector's version.
Mwah, love it. Amazing. Thank you, Sienna. And Vaughn.
I am Vaughn Roycroft. I wrote the Thunder Nation trilogy, which begins with The Severing Sun right here. And it is also a complete series. Well, I should take that back. It's a completed trilogy with more on the way. There's going to be 2 sub-trilogies in a 6-book series. Working on book 4. So, and happy to be here.
And so happy to have you,
Wow.
all of you. Just have to give a quick shout out to a wonderful booktuber, amazing gent. Watch his content, fabulous stuff. David from Four Corners of the Page. Hello, my friend. Thanks for tuning in with these three fabulous authors and having this chat. I think this chat might be of particular interest to David. I think David's been reading, things like R. Scott Bakker, The Darkness That Comes Before the Second Apocalypse series, and that's full. I can tell you, I'm getting deep into that now. That's full of really unlikable characters. So, curious to hear what David will think of our convo. But thanks again for joining, David. Hope you're being safe out there in Japan because I know they've been having a bit of rough climatic events. So, and yes, I do. Not true. You are extremely lucky, my
We're
friend.
family.
Yeah, we love you. So folks, I am going to start off by we're going to broach some questions about unlikable characters because again, I think I remember I spoke to an editor, a traditionally published editor, long before I actually published my books, and pretty well known traditionally published editor, and they had said, "Oh, I can't sell or I won't purchase a book from a fantasy author that writes unlikable characters. They won't sell. They won't. It just won't work, right? People want to read about likable people." So I remember hearing that and going, well, I guess my book's not going to get published by your shop anytime soon. I wasn't pitching or anything, but I just found it very curious. And I respect them obviously as an individual with a lot of experience in the industry, but I didn't necessarily agree. Not just because I was planning to write a likable character, but just that I think I had a penchant perhaps for liking characters like that. I felt they were complex and maybe
Mhm.
like as we joked about backstage, I know what that says about us because we like likable characters, but I mean, I would like to hear from all of you individually about. I know for some of you it might be hard to narrow it down, but to pick, I'm asking you to pick an unlikable character from your work, and maybe tell us a bit about why they're unlikable. And again, this is all perception, right? I think I think it's most important that the author believe that the character is unlikable. So it's not even necessarily the audience. And then essentially we're going to start there, but also why you chose to write that character in an unlikable fashion. So that's where we're going to start. So, and I'll go and keep the same order if that's okay. So I'll start. While you're on the hot seat, talk a bit about.
Lucky me. I have several to choose from, but I chose Stefan. Uh, he's the main character in the Keld King because he's the Keld King, although he starts in the first book, Sir Daniel. And he's roundly hated. And I'm glad about that because I wanted him to be hated. He serves as a foil, strictly speaking, as a writer here, he's a foil to Durillion, the main character, who is also unlikable. But apparently, readers come to like him better as the series goes on. So, Stefan was created. I already knew he would be unlikable before I wrote those two books. Um, and he had to be because a lot of the conflict in the series is about the rule he had, his reign. So he had to have had a bad reign. And I figured to have a bad reign, you have to have bad qualities. And you could be a lovable oaf, I guess, but I wanted to make him a person who really arouses passions. So with Stefan, when I first introduced him, the first time readers meet him, he's kicking in Durillion's face in a fight. So that's already, I think, pretty unlikable. I don't like people who beat up on other people. So I thought that would be unlikable. And it pretty much served, but people kept trying to find ways to like him. But when he became king, oh, well, yeah, all bets were off. He was a horrible ruler. I made him self-centered, fearful. He's terrified of Durillion all the time. He's sure Durillion's out to get him. He's paranoid. He is absolutely certain if he doesn't do something to make himself look like a strong guy, then people won't respect him. So he has to go out and do something to make himself look strong. And one of the greatest testaments I have was from my nephew-in-law, who was reading the book. And I said, and you know how we are. We want to know how the book is going. Hey, you're reading The Keld King. What do you think? And he said, oh, well, Stefan's about to do something stupid again. And that's exactly the way readers have been permitted to. So it's like it worked. And Durillion's himself an unlikable character. But Stefan's one of the reasons. And I think it's good to have these characters. They're balancing. They're almost like mirror characters. Durillion is what Stefan could have been. And I think that's part of Stefan's problem too. He knows he can never be that. And so he does things, he hurts people, he tries to assassinate people, he starts wars, he puts his friends in danger. He does all sorts of things that readers go, oh my God, what's he going to do next? And I really wish he'd die already. He's unlikable.
Yeah, and I can say from having read the first book, Sardanian, it's funny. I quickly, without spoiling anything, I kept comparing and contrasting those two characters, Durillion, the main character, and Stefan, and I couldn't decide which one was more unlikable, but also more compelling in a way. Because, for
Mhm.
all of, I think, in my opinion, Julian has more charisma, but Stefan is even more devious and more calculating in a very, kind of more detached kind of way almost. Like, and I just found it fascinating with that character
He's
particularly.
utterly human. He has Durillion is God born. That's part of the series. He's connected to a god. He's born from an elite lineage, and so Stefan knows he's an average guy, much more average. He has royal blood, but he's just a human, and he just resents this tremendously. He resents it, and so he takes it out on people. And as he gets more power, secular power, he takes it out on more people. So I liked playing with his mind. I mean, okay, this makes me an evil person. I like to get into people's heads. And since I don't get into real people's heads because I totally respect them, I get into my fictional characters' heads and I play around in there. And he's got problems. Stefan's got all sorts of issues. His issues have issues. And he was a lot of fun to write for that reason. It was a lot of fun to write him, to get inside his head. And it's funny how readers say they didn't like his point of view because they hated being in his head. And I'm like, yeah, but it's such a fun place. It's so messed up.
I can see PL grinning
Yeah.
about this because I know he feels you on that one.
Yeah, I do, and thank you for that, Ella. That's excellent. That's a perfect lead into Sienna because I feel in reading her books, her characters have issues on top of the issues, but it's so amazing. It's just I love it. I'm like, man, who's Sienna gonna pick for a likable character? And like she said,
There's so
so
many of them.
many. So I'm just gonna turn over to her and let her go because I cannot wait to hear about who's just gonna talk about.
It's interesting because I literally don't know who to pick because all of them would fall into that category. And so we have a Discord channel for fans of Obsidian. And I asked the members, like, so who is the one I should be picking? And one of the members replied, you can pretty much pick anything, anyone at all because they all would work. But yeah, if I have to choose, the most controversial would probably be Muradi.
Yeah.
I think you guessed that. But the thing is, he's also one of the most beloved character in the book that everyone is actually rooting for, and many readers are actually reading because of this couple. He's who he is he's a king who's had a very dark past. Basically, he had to kill his own mom. He had to, and then he ended up killing his dad, his father, the king before him, because his dad forced him to kill his mom. That's like very problematic for him, and a part of his problem is so he grows up um feeling that if he's not powerful enough he won't be able to save anybody or anything, and also the need to change the empire uh to make it better, to be a better king than his father, which ends up making him worse in a way. I think because he has, but it comes from me. I run a business. I'm the boss to a lot of employees, and I get that. A lot of people don't understand when you're in the leading position, you have to make really hard decisions for the um, well-being of more people, and then sometimes it feels like it's really you're the bad guy, and that's the way I see Muradi because he says is a lot too, that he's willing to be the bad guy to get things done. So a lot of people see him as the bad guy. They see he you know, he kills thousands of people. His wife's family, his wife's entire family was wiped out by him, basically, and she's his prisoner. So this couple is an enemies to lovers couple. She hates him. She wants him dead, and she's the only thing that he still can't conquer because he loves her. So there's a love story in there also that he's very toxic in many ways. To explain would be to spoil the book, but basically everybody feels that this is a very toxic guy. He's a dictator and he's ruthless. But everybody loves him, and it's because of the POV. The Obsidian has like 21 POVs. They had 7 MCs, and all of them have equal standings in the book. They would have like equal time in the book. So you really get to see what's in his head, and once you see what's in his head and why he does those things, and I think readers understand his point of view, that it was necessary, and in the end his decisions, especially if you go into book 2, you would see, oh, he's right. I can never say he's a good guy because he also killed 2 of his sons, but a part of that was because was to set an example. It was for the kingdom, and because it was necessary, and he would do even that. He would go that far, and that's why I think he's the big, and the most unlikable character, but also the most beloved character that everyone says you cannot kill him. Oh. So but all of my characters are like that. So because Obsidian has no real heroes, they're all people who have been broken really badly in life one way or another, and they have different goals. Sometimes they have the same goals, but they have different ways of getting to that goal, and that clashes. And so that the story is about their ways of doing things that clash. And so I think that readers understand all of them, and it becomes a book that you don't know who to root for. That's the tension of the series, because you don't know who's gonna die, you don't know who's gonna survive, you don't know, because everybody's good in a way, everybody's bad in a way, and I think the reason I wrote it like that is because at my age I feel like I've wronged a lot of people for sometimes good intentions, and I've been wronged a lot, and sometimes I learned later that they had to do what they had to. So it's about compassion, I think, and I wanted to write unlikable characters because they're the ones who get labeled very quickly by the world, and a lot of people just don't stop to try to understand why they and they're not monsters. We label people over one wrong thing done a lot, and I feel like those are the characters I want to write about. I don't want to write a hero who's perfect, that everybody loves. I want to write that the dark side of humanity that nobody wants to touch. Nobody wants, if you have to kill an enemy, you don't want to know that he's a good father. And I do that for every character. I will squeeze that out of you. It's like, you need to, like, if you need to kill this character, I will tell you that he has a son, and he's a very loving father, and his wife really loves him, and he's a good guy, but you have to kill him anyway. Yeah, so that's why I write these characters, and that's why I love writing these characters. I feel like I can give those people who maybe had to do something bad for the greater good, or maybe they made just one little mistake that they regret a lot, that they should be given a chance and be understood by more people. So Obsidian is a series that has, everyone in it is like that.
That's incredible, Sienna. And as I lead into Vaughn, I do want to comment, having read, and I'm so happy you picked Variety. I can't help it because I'm the same way. I want to make a quick comment about Variety and have you just respond quickly as we lead into Vaughn. Is that I cannot look away from him. I think everybody I know that is a fan of your work, again, like it's either you have a crush on him as a character or you're in love with him. Like he's just that character that, despite all of that, he's so compelling, he's so charismatic. You can't look away from him. All the horrible, reprehensible things he does. He's just got that it factor. I think that draws
Yeah.
people to him, and it's a contradiction, right? And you feel guilty for being drawn to this character that's so horrible, but yet you can't help it. And I think that's brilliance. That's the brilliance of your writing, frankly. So
No, thank you.
that's the brilliance of your writing. So now we go to Vaughn, and I think I have an idea, probably the most out of all of you, but I could be wrong. I don't know everything, but who Vaughn is going to pick as his unlikable character out of amongst his brilliant books. But I'll let Vaughn tell us.
It's hard to not go with Valdan, who was my primary protagonist for most unlikable, but there's some caveats to that. But like LL, he is a foil, which I can't help but not mention. Over the course of the thing, Malvius is his foil, and the thing about the two, they represent two different worlds, and I wanted to write it with a level of complexity so that whenever you were in the POV of one or the other, you could see the other as the antagonist. I mean, you can easily see from, depending on your perspective, how the other one is the bad guy.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but with Valdan, he makes a lot of bad choices, but I like to think of him as like a child star who just, how people go to Hollywood and they hit everything and everybody's fawning over them, and all of a sudden they're just like making these horrible choices, and people are like, oh, that's okay, it'll all work out, and like everybody's covering up for these terrible things because of loyalty and fame. And he's prophesized as a child to be this leader and hero for his people, and he doesn't really buy into that, but he sees the advantages of having that laid upon him. And in the beginning, I mean, he's just thrust into the spotlight in a way as a teenager, in a way that just it kind of all goes to his head a little bit. And over the course of it, he just really starts leaning into drinking his own Kool-Aid, as I like to say. He's just like, oh, maybe I am this like prophesized hero. Maybe I can, do this or that. Now, well, if I'm going to be that, I need to do this. And it just so happens that a lot of the choices that he says he has to do are just things that selfishly work out for him. So there's a lot of ambition and selfishness and lust and rage, and he just makes bad choices again and again. But he and Malvius both are charismatic. They have loyal followings, people who run at their beck and call and do things for them, and they both just kind of they start out as friends, these foils, and there's a falling out. I'll just leave it at that. But from then on, they're like each other's nemesis, and that I knew that going in. I knew that I was going to have that dimension to them, and I thought that was interesting and complex. And You know, like you were both talking about the complexity, the richness of it, and that just sounded like fun, and that was interesting to write to me. I just finished the book Theo of Golden. I don't know if anybody's read that or heard of it. Alan Levy, I think, is the author, but it's just a hot book right now, and it's the most kind and genuinely earnest character. And I'm like such a good guy. I mean, it's like the Ted Lasso of the literary world right now. It's just a genuinely good guy who's like everybody loves, and I'm like, I wish I could have written something like this. And then I'm like thinking about it for a minute. I'm like, nah. It's more fun to just have them be complex and have
Like
them
I
do
think you could
awful
try,
things.
it wouldn't last the
Yeah,
10
right, exactly. I don't think I could sustain it. So anyway, yeah, that's my guy I picked. I had to go with the primary protagonist. So
Well, again, I have the advantage of having read all of your works, all three of you, all fabulous. And Vaughn, Valden is, what and this is just me as a reader, how I see him. As much as he is unlikable, I think he is, 60% unlikable, but then 40% frustrating. But I think it's such an amazing mix, right? Like you have characters that are just dastardly, like you get them, like we were talking about Muradi and the Stephans, like but Valden is frustrating, and characters that are unlikable plus frustrating, I think, are just that mix of, like, the reader wants to throw the book away when they do something,
That's
but then they pick it up
amazing.
and look at
Yeah.
it. Well, I want to see what they do next, and that is I think that is just so intriguing, and it just all of your characters you picked LL, Sienna, and Vaughn. They make the reader come back for more, just if nothing else to see the train wreck or what thing they're going to. I'm sorry, it's just the truth, right? Like you
right,
can't stop reading. It's addictive that way, right? So kudos to you for writing Valda and making him still though a character that a lot of readers love and are rooting for, right? Even though he is unlikable, he
Yeah.
is frustrating. Like that's, and like I said, this is rare skill.
thank,
So I would really like to hear from each of you. The next main question is, what's some of the most interesting, best, or most memorable feedback you've had from readers or reviewers about your unlikable character? Because I know for me, I've gotten I can't even describe the depth and breadth of emails and texts and message reviews I got about authoring. He is Marmite. You love him or you hate him, everything between. People have told me, oh yeah, I love everything about your book except I can't read it because of author. I can't go on, right? Like I've gotten he's so paralyzing that way. But I'd like to hear from each of you, for your main character, what the feedback has been. LL.
For Stefan, it's very interesting. In Sardania, I would get feedback about, oh, I have hope for him. And it's like, readers have hope for him. That's so sweet. But yeah, but they knew he was already a troubled, frustrating person. But in The Killed King, I have had so many readers. I read the online discussions, if I can find them, about the books. Killed King is the book with Stefan as one of the main characters, where people say they cannot stand him and they hope he dies and they they hope he dies horribly and miserably in a terrible way. I've had people say they've thrown the book down, they can't read anymore. I've had people say, oh yeah, I'm not even sure I should go on if this guy continues to be in the story. He's like, the word frustrating that you used is a very good one. He's not totally evil, I don't think. I mean, he doesn't beat his wife or anything. He's got a few good characters. He's trying to help his people, but he's doing a ham-handed job about it. He's going about things the wrong way. He's following after one of the better loved characters in my series is Mark Frederick, his grandfather, who was a wonderful king, a great guy, and had this amazing relationship with Derillian. Stefan's relationship with Derillion's a total, dumpster fire. And so people, the readers who one liked Aurelian hate Stefan, people who liked Mark Frederick hate Stefan. And, you know, they're like, he's just going to totally destroy his own people because he's not doing things that are really advancing them the way he wants. They just want him to die. And so my editor didn't want him to die. There are other characters my editors have said, please kill this guy. But not Stefan, because he was very interesting. So they, you know, I thought he was interesting, but my readers mostly want him to die.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, but yet, without that foil, without removing Stefan from your work, I think would detract from your work, and that's part of why I think for me, and I'd love to hear later on what you all think. Why I know for me, like I think that having unlikable characters is something that makes books, like Vaughn was saying. Okay, reading about a good guy, a good woman, man, protagonist,
It's
hero,
nice.
whatever. It's
It's
great, but
realistic.
but right, like
It
someone,
makes the book more realistic, yeah.
yeah.
And it
So
makes the character more real. I feel like you, whether you like them or not, it just having unlikable characters and writing them that way, in the way that it makes sense where they're coming from. I think a lot of readers can relate to that, if they've had enough life experience. And so the entire book feels real. It's not childhood story, fairy godmother anymore. This is real, and so they're more involved, and I think they love the character even more because they feel like these characters are alive, like they're like their friends. So yeah, I think it's kind of very important to have some in the book. I mean, even if you don't go as far as I do, but yeah.
It's true, and there are a few readers who've said they sympathized with him, and
Yeah,
they did like him. It's not like everybody has always said that,
yeah,
and it does make it more real because real people screw up constantly.
yeah.
I know I have. Gosh,
yeah,
you do not want my life story. It's terrifying, but so I do think Sienna's right, and it does make it more real when you see, oh, okay, that's a person who's screwing up.
Yeah.
and is that the feedback from your most of your readers that and you have almost all exclusively characters who are like, well, as you said, is that the feedback when including about Marathi that hey, like the, irrespective of how despicable they are, they're real people that I can relate to. Is that some of the feedback?
Oh yeah, that's the characters comment that I get the most are like they feel real, and my readers keep saying like they can't stop thinking about them long after they go through their lives, and they will remember, oh, I have readers who, like, during COVID times, I think it was Sergio who said we need Muradi to run things right now. I'm like, are you sure? Because like he would probably just kill anybody who gets out of the house, and then we'll be rid of COVID in about a week. That's what he would do. But yeah, but I get that a lot, that all of them feel real. I think it's because I always explain why they do things in a way that, like Vaughn said, that you could read uh, this POV and feel like the protag is the antag. Obsidian, I said this once, that because it's split into the white desert, the war is split into, between the white desert and the black desert, and I say, I can actually write the black book and the white book, where in the white book the roles would be swapped, and I don't have to change a thing. I just have to explain it only from this side of, this point of view, and then the black book would be explained from the black desert point of view, and then everyone who reads only the black book would see the white desert as the villain. and that's one of the things that I really want to do if I have time. That would be so interesting to have like the readers, a group of readers reading the black book, and then the other reading the white book, and they would fight over who's the bad guy. I
That would be cool.
and I feel like that would be so much fun. And then you have the neutral book, which we have right now, because you get to see both point of views, and then you can decide whether who's bad. You don't want anybody to die because they all have their own cause. Yeah, but getting back to feedbacks, I don't have any hate comments. I mean, I have one comment on Wattpad, why the story was on Wattpad, that somebody said Muradi was toxic, and then it blew up into a long fight between that person and a list of hardcore Muradi fans. It's like he's not toxic, and they were fighting over that. And I was just watching that conversation, and I'm like, guys, he is toxic. I mean, I agree. And they were all defending me and him. Was like, he's not toxic. He's done all this because of that, because it's like, he's a good guy. And I'm like, no, he's not.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that was so cool, because I'm like, okay, I managed to brainwash everyone after that. And it's like he killed like his almost entire family. And I had one reader say like that's like one way of trying to avoid Christmas dinner because he kills all his relatives. I'm like, yeah, that is a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but 99% of the time he has fans.
That is awesome. But Tiana, and like I said, I feel the same. Like again, defending. I'm an apologist for Roddy, knowing how horrible he is. He's done, but there's reasoning behind them. So, and I guess Vaughn, I mean, I'm not sure if you probably had some of the same feedback about Valda, but I wonder how much you've had on the hate side, on the frustrating side, on the everything between, or people that love him. Like, what's your feedback been?
It seems like it's more frustration than hate, like you said. But the haters are. It all boils down to one thing. So that I have a love story as well, a love interest, a woman, Alan, who begins as Valdan's guardian and ends up being his lover, and she is beloved by fans. I mean, people love Alan, and for good reason. She's got a great heart. She's a good person. And Valdan's treatment of Alan is at the core of the negativity I've heard from this character. I mean, he does not treat her well. And then I get a lot of frustration over, why does she stay with him? Why does she stay loyal to him? And that's a complicated story, and I don't want to give anything away, but I think his treatment of women in general, because he also marries other women too, and he's just that seems to lie at the core of the people who really dislike this character. And just I've it's kind of a thing. I've had a few readers feel like they got through book one and enjoyed it and started or read book two, and they reach out to me and I think they feel sort of jilted by him, because I honestly think the signs are all there for who Valden is. I don't think I really am making any promises with this character that I don't fulfill, but people feel like he should generally get better and better. I think LL said something about a character who gets more likable over time. I think with Valdan, it almost is the opposite. He gets less likable over time. Until the end. Hopefully it's a redemption story in a way, and that's, I guess, a little bit of a spoiler, but it's just people feel a little jilted by him if they did sort of love him. And I just think it has a lot to do with how he treats other people. And, and if you, and that's part of the complexity is like, why? And I think he always has his reasons. I'm not saying they're good reasons, but he always has his reasons. And the same with Malvius, his foil. I think he can be funny, charming. He's kind of a lovable rogue in many ways. And people like him, and then he does shitty things to people too. So, it makes for the complexity we've all been talking about, which I think is part of the richness of the stew.
Oh,
So,
I totally agree, Vaughn. I totally agree. I'm going to quickly put up the comments back here. This one is from, the wonderful Espionada. Espionada here. We can't stay right now, but we're looking forward to the replay. Thanks for providing some of our fave morally great babes. Sienna, she gives you the big heart. She's a huge fan of Obsidian. And of course, Esme is one of the best reviewers in our space. I think we'd all agree she's just a wonderful person. But in terms of the written review, she's one of the best out there.
Yeah.
So, we have to give her flowers. We love you, Esme and Anna. Great. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the replay. And of course, David, he's got a jet out. He says, "Oh, is one of your parts there, Sienna? We've got a dash guy right here off the palette.
Welcome.
There you go. So maybe you guys should message, figure out you guys are able to hook up, meet up if you're not both busy. Thanks for introducing me to some new people. And Vaughn, always a pleasure. So, and we know that Dave is also a big fan of the Sundered Nation trilogy. And it's funny, too, because I know that I'm going to be speaking to great Zachary Shea from his channel, and also speaking to Jake No Level Rising. I mean, we all know that like your series are all starting to really gain prominence, and they're big fans of. After I kind of was plugging them about Triumphary, they're all singing the praises of LL's work. So all three of you have really been kind of blowing up a bit in the space, which you love to see because all fabulous. I'm going to come back to this question afterwards by the wonderful Cole. Hey, Cole, thanks for coming out. Cole's got a question about, do you have a favorite likable character from any series? I'll come back to that later. So I promise, Cole, thanks for coming. Check out Cole's channel, another great booktuber. Also did an interview with him recently, so hope you find that interesting. But I will come back to that, Cole. Thanks for asking. So our final main question is about the joys and pitfalls of writing unlikable characters and how you see those as an author. I can say for me, the one pitfall that I honestly, it's a pitfall that I acknowledge exists, but it's not a pitfall for me personally. Like, I don't look at it as negative. Is that you're going to potentially lose readers who want to read, as Vaughn was saying, the goody two shoes, main, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you want to just you need your main characters to be likable and relatable to you. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying for me, that's not what I write, and I don't plan to write. That's not my thing. That's not what I find compelling. I'm drawn to that complex, morally ambiguous character. So for me, I don't see a pitfall in writing one, but potentially some people may say, and as I talked about in the beginning, that editor who said, I can't sell a series that has an unlikable protagonist. So, and I mean, LL, you've been in the traditionally published side, you've been in the indie side. Yeah, so I'll let the three of you weigh in on the joys and more, and especially maybe focus on the pitfalls of what the risks are of writing an unlikable character as the author.
Well, it's funny what you say about being told you have to have a likable character. It's interesting because when I first started trying to sell the Triumphary series, I was published by DAW, and I showed it to them. And the editor there said, I want to find out more about this Cerulean guy. He was the unlikable character at that point in the series. He was he was an asshole. And anyway, so she wanted to know more about him, his background, his relationship with Mark Frederick. And I had to I didn't have to, but I did write Sordanian and the Keld King because that editor's advice was to focus on the unlikable character. So that is a different experience than what you had. And it turns out that the unlikable character is the one that grabbed readers' attention. And so I don't consider an unlikable character a pitfall necessarily, but it does attract maybe a certain type of reader. And I'm glad it did because it worked out really well for me. I think unlikable characters allow a lot more writing room in the plot. You can have more scheming because unlikable characters are schemers often. You can have more conflict because, darn, they create a lot of conflict. Your likable character might be a conflict avoider, for all you know, which mine tend to be. I do have likable characters in the series also, so it's not all unlikable characters like with Sienna. But so if people like a likable character, they can gravitate to those characters. But the unlikable ones drive the plot more. And I haven't even mentioned my villain, who's very unlikable. Who's also a major factor in the whole series because of the terrible things he does. So I like doing terrible things is great fun as a writer. Great fun. Doing nice and like celebrations and birthday parties, it can be fun too, but in a very different way. I find destroying entire cities and coastlines very fun. And I think readers do too. That's the high drama event, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Why are people watching House of the Dragon? They're watching Dragon burn,
exactly.
shoot people, blasting people out of existence. And it's
It's entertainment, guys. I mean, we want entertainment because we've been stressed from work and we need to take it out on something or someone. I mean, right? I mean, sometimes you want to watch dragons burn somebody because it's like you had a really bad day at work and this customer was really horrible and you had nowhere to take it out. But I agree. I mean, you don't even need plots when you have unlikable characters. They basically create shit for you to deal with all the time. They are the troublemakers, and the more you have, the more plot lines you have, the more mess you have to fix, and the more books you can write. And I don't see that as a pitfall, in terms of writing at all. But whether you need to have a likable character in a book or whether the MC needs to be likable, I don't know, but I disagree with that practice on, it's on principle. I feel like reading about someone's story it's like when you watch the news and you hear someone's story, you don't have to like that person to be interested or to feel sorry for that person. And I feel like that's the right way to do it. That's the good people will be like that. Compassionate people will be like that. They won't feel sorry only for the ones who have never done anything wrong. And I feel like if the world needs likable character only to be in the books, then I'm not gonna write that book for those people anyway. So it's not just me liking these characters. I do love them. I feel like they're much more complex, and I feel like my compassion also grows because when I write these unlikable characters, when I see their reason, I try to work out the reasons for people, of people who have hurted me in the past. Instead of hating them, I want to understand them. I want to forgive them, and I feel like that's very important to be in a book because it lasts forever for generations and you can really grow some compassion with it. So if maybe a lot of people are writing only likable characters, and I feel like that's not enough. I want my kids to grow up reading about unlikable characters and understanding people who have hurt them, that they're not always the enemy, they're not always the bad guys. I want books like that for me. I want books like that for my kids. So even if it's a pitfall marketing wise, or if I can't sell, I feel like I'm obligated to do something like that, especially because I'm a hobbyist as well. So I think that's I have the privilege of being able to do that because I can support myself and my family other ways. So I can write book series that don't end up being bestsellers that a lot of people treasure. And that's, I feel like that's my other goal in a way. I want to reach out to the minorities, or maybe people who really understand, who are my family. I always call Obsidian readers my family because it's like when I talk to you guys, I know that you come from the same uh, world. You see the world the same way I do, and that's, I think that's priceless. I mean, to actually meet so many people who see the world the same way you do, not just your family. I mean, I don't get people like that in real life. I mean, for real. But it's the readers who read my book. They understand me so much, and when they talk to me, I really know they understand me on a deeper level than people I meet every day, because I pour my heart out in that. And when you love these characters, I know that you understand me as a person. You love the world that I want, the world to be, and that's an amazing feeling. So I really don't care if the book is never picked up by anybody, or if I lose readers who need good characters. They are someone else's readers. They're just not mine. It's okay. Yeah.
Very so well said, Sienna. And I feel that way myself as an author, and certainly as a fan of your work. I totally agree. And I feel like and you do sell a lot of books. You are very popular. All three of you are, and gaining and ascending in popularity. And so, in other words, clearly, despite us all writing likable characters, we found our audience. So, which is great. And you certainly found yours, Sienna. I mean, all the reviews on Goodreads and the Amazon are a testament to that. Vaughn, so weigh in, please, my friend. What do you think?
Um, you know, I think staying true to your heart is a big part of what led me to this spot. And I do enjoy, there's nothing more fun than, writing kind of what you hope is a gasp scene, just something that just is going to shock everyone. It can't come out of nowhere, though. Obviously, there has to be a good foundation for something like that. But I too was told, when I had an agent before I published, and we went on the marketplace with book one, The Severing Son, and I was advised by an acquiring editor to rewrite the book, focusing from the whole book from Alon's perspective, the likable female character. He said I would do a lot better in the marketplace that way. And it's just something I wasn't willing to do. And it goes back to, I wrote another series long ago, that is the the next trilogy time wise. It follows this one, and the backstory of the father character of two brothers is my protagonist, Valdan. He was the father of my two uh, characters in the subsequent series, and so I started to realize that he was either beloved or reviled, this character Valdan, by these future generations. And someone who, goes down in history as either being loved or reviled, um, I just thought that's a fascinating character. So I just couldn't help but write his story, and to be told, no, you should focus on the secondary character, it just wasn't going to work. So yeah, but I love it. I love, the nuance of it. I love, showing his good side and his bad, and bad choices, like LL said, lead to more conflict. So it's just makes for juicier stuff, and a lot more is happening when you got someone who's mixing it up like that. So
Yeah, and I think all of you, one of the main things I admire about all of you is that you stay true to your craft, as Vaughn pointed out. You're not writing to sell. We all want people to read our books. We all want to sell books, but that's not the primary focus. It's about staying true to the craft. It's about writing the books that we want to read the way we want to write them. What's the point of being, especially an indie author? Vaughn talked about, Vaughn, you might have gotten a book deal had you changed. See, that speaks to integrity too, right? That I think we all share, and clearly Vaughn has it. That Vaughn potentially sacrificed the book deal, to stay true to his craft, and I think that's what we're all striving for. Many people have said to me, PL, man, if you had written authoring to be better, or if you'd written from Glathan's point of view, or one of your other characters, you would have and I'm like, but
Yeah.
then that wouldn't even be the same story,
yeah,
right?
It's
And
not
that's
even
our
about
story.
that. Yeah, it's in the end, it's still marketing.
Yeah.
It's not even the story. I mean, I don't at this point. I don't believe anything about, oh, you have to write this and that and then you make it. It's you just have to market really well and get the book known by somebody who happens to be your audience, because there are a lot of readers in the world that likes different things. Any book well written will sell. It's about marketing. So I don't believe changing the way you write is gonna make it's gonna get you a book deal. um story wise, not,
yeah,
if you can change it so that you write better, your writing skill is better, yeah, that helps. But if you have to change a storyline, if you have to change a character, I've been told to limit the point of views to 3. Come on, I have 7
No
series.
way.
Who do I take out of that 7? I mean, right now I'm not even allowed to kill any one of those 7 by my readers, and then it would have been a different book. Yeah, so I don't think that's it at all. It's about marketing, and I feel like if we write what we are passionate about, we do a better job. We do a much better job at writing out of passion anyway, and we just have to find those readers, and then you just have to get your writing skills up to standard, which I think a lot of writers who write out of passion that don't make it far, even after a lot of marketing effort, is just that it's it's mostly the writing skills part. I think that's just it.
Yeah.
And marketing, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and because there's a lot of great books out there that are, and to your point, Sienna, as well, there are a lot of great books that are actually extremely well written and and well marketed, but they still don't make it. And
yeah,
on the traditionally published side, there's brilliant traditionally published authors that write great books, and for whatever reason, their publishers don't throw the backing behind that particular series, and a series that I think a lot of people that would objectively say is not as well written seems to sell. And
it's
I mean,
luck.
there's luck. I mean, there's so many
It's
factors,
luck.
right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
most success in life, and I think what Vaughn said was interesting, because he said that all this must have come from somewhere, and I feel like the answer to that is just age.
I've got it on all of you. But age does help.
Yeah, life
Yeah,
experience. You think you hit it on
life
the head there.
experience. And I want to ask you guys too. I mean, do you feel like uh, the readers who really love these characters are on the older side?
Bingo. Like
Or
I don't know.
younger
That's
ones that
interesting.
Yeah. Huh.
have lived um,
Yeah.
have lived a lot. Because for me, it feels that way because they're more likely to understand.
I agree.
Um, so I think it's and then you get the books where the uplifting, nice, good hero books. I feel like they're written by younger. Maybe I think I wrote them too when I was younger. But once again, after 35 or something, um, we all probably feel like, yeah, that's not, I mean, come on, be serious. That's not realistic anymore. You
I
don't
think the answer there, Jen,
see.
I swear, like most of my most avid readers are older, at least 40 plus, and they appreciate the complexities in someone like Author because they've lived and they know that people aren't just straight up sugar coated good or
Yeah.
mustache twirling evil. Most of us are somewhere in between, including all of us. And I really think you have some there, Sienna, because that's just my personal experience. It doesn't. I'd interest you what LL and Vaughn uh, experience about their readers, but I find most of my readers that really love my book, to me, they have what if they're young, it's just a certain level of maturity, but most of them are older. And I have to say, I always talk about this that I feel that I'm a way better writer. I published in my 50s. I don't think I could have written something. I'm
Yeah.
not such a great writer, but to this level when I was 30, because I don't think I had the life experience. And I think some of my favorite authors, when I as I read them, I find a lot of them are, they're not in their 20s, right? Uh,
Right.
Mm.
and all three of you, right? Some of my favorite authors, some of the best. I honestly believe I will say this over and over, and I think you guys have all been able to tell from my reviews of your work and how I gush about them and talk them constantly. You three are some of the best indie authors I've ever read, and you're not infants, right? Like but there's no shame in and there's nothing like life experience and maturity are not a negative. They're not a bad thing. Not being young anymore. I mean, I'm sure physically a lot of us all wish that we, might feel that way, but I wouldn't trade being my age now, being a grandfather, for the world. I wouldn't trade the
Mhm.
things I've seen, horrible and positive, and my career in law enforcement, all the things that's shown me. Like I wouldn't trade that for the world. I think all those things make me a better writer, and I think
Yeah.
all feel the same, right? Like LL and Vaughn, like, what about your readers? Like in terms of if you have an idea, you may not. Kind of like the demographics of your readers. Like, are most of your most avid fans like do they tend to be more of the mature side or?
It seems like, yeah, I think tends to be. Now that this is the first time I've really thought about an age demographic. I when I think back on a lot of the people who gush, though, I mean, some of them are younger. Shay, who you mentioned, and David, both are
Yeah,
very big fans. Very are younger men. But it's funny about life experience. Sienna mentioned being a boss. As I had 60 employees for quite a chunk of my life, and I didn't start writing until I was 43 and had left the business world. But that's really informs. I mean, having to make those decisions that not everybody's going to love, and quite often everybody's going to hate. It's just something you have to do as a boss. So I know that was a big part of my life experience that I know informed my writing. But being older in general, I think was important to what I came up with, what came out. I had written some stuff when I was younger, and absolutely it was. Uh, yeah, I don't know that I was always going for happy endings or likable characters, but I certainly wasn't doing the level of complexity that I ended up with. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know exactly about my age demographic for fans. I, I, I I'm tending to believe that you're right, that they tend to be more mature. So whether it's actual, years or
Yeah,
just a level of maturity, right?
exactly. When I say maturity, you hit the nail on the head. We talk about people like Zachary Shea and
David.
David from Four Corner of the Page and Jake from Nerdolo Rising. They are mature young people, right?
Right.
Mhm.
So yeah, no, exactly. Ella, what do you?
It's maturity, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Maturity, certainly. My demographic, I know a little bit because I'm so nosy, but I surprisingly young to me. Um, I know Alex is a wonderful reviewer. You've seen his reviews of my work.
he
He's
loves it.
so young. He reminds me of my sons, and my sons are older than him. And and I have fans overseas who are young. Also, I know they're. Chidi from Nigeria and Sayudi. I don't know how old he is, but I mean, I think they're on the young side. I know quite a few of them are on the younger side, which surprised me. They came into fantasy through manga and anime, and
Mm.
they found, I don't know how they found my books. They found my books because other people found my books. People like Sayudi and Chidi. And then the young people are finding out from the other young people. My original readers, the first readers, Sir Daniel was published 5 years ago, were older, I think. And they liked classic type fantasy, and they thought, oh, that looks like it could be classic fantasy. I think my original readers were older. I'm finding an awful lot of young readers now, and that makes me very happy. As for my own maturity, my first book was published in 1985. When I was 30 years old, I was young. I was young, so I was younger than that. Anyway, I was very young. I wrote it, and it was published. And I first started writing the triumvirate characters and stories when I was that young. I could not have written these books then. I tried, and that's when the editor said, it's very ambitious, but you need to focus on these other characters." It's like, oh, okay. And eventually I did. I am a much better writer now than I was back then. I've lived a lot more.
Yeah.
I raised 3 children. I have grandchildren. I've had jobs in medicine, academia, in politics, and in airports. I have had a vast amount of life experience, learning all sorts of interesting things that I could bring into my books. The fact that the real and economics and infrastructure is all in there, politics, airports. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has come into my books because I have more experience as a
Yeah.
person. And I also learned writing. I studied with C.J. Cherry. I studied with other authors. I entered writing groups and workshops. I workshopped a lot of my work saying, hey, trying to make it better. And I became a better writer as a result of that. So now at this point, I am writing a much better book than I wrote in 1985. And readers are getting a better product from me than they would have gotten back then. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be anywhere else. I like where I am.
Yeah.
But it's funny when we
I
talk
mean,
about demographics. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you,
I
Sienna.
I was just gonna say, well, I do have a 14-year-old, a few 14 and 15-year-olds readers as well, which they shouldn't be reading because this is not for anyone under 18, who understood a lot of things in the book. But one of the joys of writing Obsidian is, as a multi POV book, is that I can write the point of view of a daughter and the father. You know, Zain is a very hard father. Um, and she's a very headstrong daughter, and having readers like Ina and Esme, who is like mother and daughter, both reading the same series, both loving it, is like a gift to me, really, because I feel like if I had written this when I was, before I had children, I would probably be writing from a point of view of the daughter only, of a daughter having a really hard father, and hates why he says these things. She wouldn't understand. I wouldn't understand at that point, and then I would probably attract a lot of younger readers back then, but maybe not the fathers, because I didn't understand
Yeah.
enough of parenting to write from the point of view of the parents. But now I'm old enough. I'm a mother of two myself. I know how my husband's worries as a father. I know why we have to be hard on the kids, and it was a privilege to be able to write the point of view of the daughter, feeling that she doesn't understand her father, why he's that hard on her, and then I get to write the point of view of the father, of why that when he said those things, he really didn't want to say it, but he had to, because he had to make sure that she grows up safe, and that and then be able to write those point of views has helped younger readers understand their own parents as well. So I now that I think of it, I do have younger readers who love the story as well. But I think it all because I I wrote it at this age after all those experience of seeing both sides of the conflict, and choosing to write a multi POV, because that's why I love these multiple point of view books much more than the dual, or like the more limited ones, because you only see from one side, and that doesn't feel as complex as the seeing it all from different sides. And so now it's like I feel like maturity is a lot of why we write these books. Probably, yeah. But because
that's
if
cool.
you write it both sides of the equation, you probably get both younger and older readers as well. Yeah.
And I want
Can I
go ahead, Ron.
weigh in on something real quick?
Absolutely.
She just said, and I write multi POV for the same reason. I feel like it really adds complexity. But Oath Run being the primary POV in your series, there's some complexity there, I'll tell you. I mean, that is like a character that you're always scratching your head, like thinking, because there's a level of unreliability, and there's just and there's so many of the things they're like, what the hell are you saying? What are you doing? Anyway, I just wanted to add that there can be a primary POV that carries a load that's also very complex, but I did the same thing. I wrote many more POVs than most editors would advise me to.
Well, you're very kind, but I also want to quickly. We have so much to cover. I know we're running short on time. I know Sarah's got to go to bed at some point. The one thing I want to quickly say is that one of the reasons why I think you three have such a broad field of people who read your books is because I think people take different things from your books, younger readers, older readers, and like I know for me, there's readers that just read my books. It's not why I write them, and it's not what I really intended. They just love the battle scenes. They love the fight scenes. They love the build up, and they read it for the epic clashes, and that's great. Hey, you can read it for whatever reason you want to read it. That's not why I wrote it. That's not my focus. But hey, I know, for example, with Sienna's books, like I'm a big romance fan. For the romance, like I could not stop reading Sienna's books, for example, for the romance. Right? It's so well written. Vaughn, your romance are extremely well written, and you don't have quite as much, at least in this first book, but it's there and it's fantastic. And or some people just like to read them for the political intrigue, right? Like and I think that appeals to different readers of different age groups and different preferences. So I think we also have to recognize that some readers are reading our books for not what we think they're reading it for, and for specific aspects of our books, and that's what we get our audience. But at the end of the day, it's all good because they're reading them, right? And as long as they like them, doesn't matter why. Like sometimes we as authors guess, oh man, you didn't really get that aspect that I put in there, but that's okay. you're reading the book and you're loving it. So we have to be happy with that, right? So
Always. Always.
no, I
Yeah.
want to quickly. There's been a lot of comments chat. I want to quickly go down first to go back to, and I'm going to find Cole's. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go forwards. So first, I'm going to say hi to Andy. Thanks for coming out, Andy Small, and saying hello. An awesome, my community member Shad, great person. I've had the privilege of meeting him. Shad, fabulous support of all things bookish. Thanks so much, Shad. All great to see you. Hope I get to see you at London Comic Con this year. If you're going to be there again. So Shad is awesome. Hope to have Shad on the channel as part of community appreciation at one point. Cole had to run. He says, awesome, excited to catch replay. He does have a question I'm going to come back to again as maybe our final question before we move into the end of the broadcast. So I apologize, Cole, that I didn't get to it while you were still here, but hope you do catch the replay and you see your question answered. Another fabulous author, one of the funniest, wittiest, nicest folks out there, awesome Joe George. Go read my Felix. Go read Joe's stuff. It's just some of the most fun I've had reading a book in a while, and surprisingly deep thematically, with a great, if you want space beers, superheroes, sentient computer, like great stuff. Read his stuff. He says the real question is how such likable people can possibly write likable characters. It's a testament to your imagination. Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Joe's a great writer. I appreciate the compliment. Noel said, "Came an hour in the stream, and definitely gonna have to come back to the stream and watch all the way through." She says, "Currently reading the blade itself. So interested to see all the points of view in the stream of writing unlikable characters because the book is full." Yeah, definitely, Joe Abercrombie. You got unlikable characters, and he succeeds.
We need him here.
Yeah, we gotta get next time.
We
Maybe
need Joe. Yeah.
we'll have part two, and we'll invite Joe and invite Joe Abercrombie on the show. Oh well, thanks. So on the Glenn closer to 60, Noel. So yeah, appreciate the compliment though. Said side note, you're bringing indie authors to the channel. Some of the best indie authors, Noel. As I watch interviews from authors, it makes you want to pick up their voice even more. So glad you're like, well, thank you. Well, that's the reason I do it, and that's so much bigger than me or any of these authors. Even like the indie author community is something that is gold, and the more and more people hear about these books, the more they understand the greatness that is out there from that you and what you can achieve and attain by reading indie books. He says, "Yep, multi POV is where it's at." And she also says, I guess this is my comment about scenes. Yeah, get lost in battle scenes a lot. Even when they're written well, I feel like I get turned around trying to picture everything in my mind. Yeah, and I can honestly say that, whether it's epic scale battle or simply fight scenes or conflict scenes, all these three authors are excellent at writing those, right? Vaughn probably more known for the big epic scale battles, but that duel in book 2 of Obsidian, that duel lives rent free in my head. I'm not going to spoil it. Anything that's ever saying that it's a duel. That lives rent free in my head.
I
And
love a good duel.
Yes.
there's a scene in Sordanian where it's not necessarily even a fight scene. I'd say essentially it's a massacre, essentially.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, like I think I reread that seriously, LL, about 5 times. Like I was like, what? Like wow. Like anyways, just read the books from these authors, and you'll get your fix, right? No matter what you're looking for. And also thanks for checking my comments. Sorry for the chat. No, we this Noel, thanks so much.
This is
This is what we
no,
love.
thank you.
Yeah, it makes long form content amazing, right? So thank you for being here. And then Joe says bouncing you tricky because you can't convey every detail. You have to pick the right deals. I agree. You're either normally treetop or you're from intimate level of that 1 or 2 fighters, or you're somewhere between. And yeah, I think you kind of have to often pick your spots. So I want to quickly go back to that question that I promised Cole asked, which was a great question. If you guys can all just pick one, your favorite one in literature that's going right now. Do you have a favorite likable character from some other, not your own work, but somebody else's work, and it can be any series? Do you have a favorite unlikable character that has stood out for you over time that stayed with you?
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
For me, it's Paul Atreides from Dune. I don't like that guy. I never liked him. I never found him a likable character in Dune or in the subsequent books. And but he's really well done. He's got a great arc, and he's memorable.
Yeah.
There's a favorite unlikable character.
No, I have to agree. He is, you know, and I haven't read. I've watched the movies. I haven't read the book. It's on my shelf. Can't believe I haven't read Dune. I shit myself for years. I watched the movies, but and I should.
Yeah.
That's a travesty on my part. But yeah, that's a great pick. Sienna.
Glockta.
Ah,
Sandman Glopta.
and then Glockta.
I loved him from the first chapter. I was like, oh, that's not fair because I like him. Like, for real. he's not unlikable. Come on, guys.
He's just a torturer, and
Such
Yeah.
a cool character. I read the entire series because of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean he's funny. He's I don't know how I think a lot of people read the series because of Glockta. We are hooked because of Glockta. And then he's this horrible guy through and through, and ugly too, right? Because he's like
well,
he's got his teeth pulled and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's I think that's an amazing character that Joe Abercrombie created because that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, no, I'd
To
agree.
create a character like a maimed character who is older and despicable, and then everyone is just like reading him, reading the series because of him. Yeah, and then Tywin Lannister is another favorite of mine. I love Tywin. Yeah.
Glockta.
He has this authority about him that's just marvelous. Yeah.
Yeah, great picks. You can't go wrong with those two. Glockta is one of the main reasons I read First Lot 2, and Tywin Lannister, underrated as I think, a character, and what a Machiavellian player of the game, eh? So
yeah.
Vaughn.
It's funny you mentioned Tywin Lannister because the first character that popped into my head was Jaime Lannister. I mean, we meet him.
I mean, it's a teddy bear.
Pushing Bran off the tower so he could get back to his sister.
Yeah.
And he failed. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not qualified. He failed. I was so mad. It's like, how could you fail? I had to read Bran for the whole series.
Right. But the long arc of watching Jaime through this series so far, the unfinished series, it's just it's really a masterclass in getting you to be compelled by a character who you immediately find to be loathsome. So yeah, he was the first one that popped into my head. I did think at Glockta too, but yeah, they're just two that popped right into my head.
Yeah, no, those are amazing choices, and yeah, I think Glockta is probably my guy as well. I mean, there's plenty of great authors writing unlikable characters, but the thing about Glockta too is that he and I don't know if you have read Into Age of Madness. I've read all of the six in that world, and without spoiling things, I think that's a character that he is on a secret redemption arc that he doesn't even realize, and I think that's one of the brilliant things about some of these unlikable characters and their arcs, that sometimes the reader, sometimes the author writes the book so well the reader doesn't realize the character's on a redemption arc until it happens, and then they're like, wait a minute, there've been changes, and it doesn't mean the character's ultimately redeemable. It just means that some things they've done have not necessarily self-corrected or balanced out the reprehensible, terrible things they've done. But again, I think people start to look at them differently in terms of being, as Sienna pointed out, in terms of compassion, someone who is worthy of caring about, right? And I think one thing you all do brilliantly is make us care about your unlikable characters. So and that's, again, that's a rare skill, right? Quickly, as we're winding down, Noel says, "Yep, just picked up the Messiah." James Paul Atreides arc, and yes, Glockta, yeah, Glockta's a fan. Listen, I could talk to all three of you all day and all night. I know this, and I'm trying to rein it in. But I know it's early, and LL and Vaughn have to start their day, and Dan's got to go to bed. But as I wind down, first of all, I just want to thank you all immensely for joining me. This was just fabulous. I knew it would be, and I'm going to be going about this conversation for a while. As I sign off, I would like to give each of you an opportunity just to talk a bit about, just to remind people of your works, hold up your books if you have them, tell people where they can buy your books in terms of the network, where to follow you on social media, any new projects you'd like to talk about that you can talk about that are coming up, anything you'd like to say, just give you a bit of time to do some self promo there and boost your work, because especially for people who are like, hey, these three authors write unlikable characters, yeah, and they're written incredibly. So let's hear from the troop. LL.
All right. My Trampery series is 6 books long. It starts with Sordanian, and it's all finished. It's complete. So you can find it all on Amazon. If you buy from my publisher, a small indie publisher, Forest Path Books, you get the ebook with the paper book. So if you buy a paper book, you get the ebook. Now,
Wow.
Amazon doesn't give
Yes,
you that. So that is a plus.
that is a
I
plus.
had a blast writing it. If you like my series or just want to know more about it, I have a website, triumpery.com. I have stories, stories up there, lots of lore from the books, all sorts of blog posts and stuff. So, readers are always welcome to visit there and just poke around and it'll spoil you. You can spoil yourself too if you want to.
Amazing, amazing. Sienna.
Yeah, the Obsidian is 2 books at the moment, so both are available on Amazon as ebook and paperback. Yeah, as I don't know how many books there will be because I'm a pantser, so you just have to wait. And, I'm on Twitter as Sienna Frost without the O. If you want to hear my ramblings, I mean, read my ramblings and complaints about the world while I'm not writing. Um, there's a warning though, even though if you think you like unlikable characters and morally gray characters, I have all those, but Obsidian is very dark, and I'm talking dark as in third world dark. So you will see third world stuff in there. That is the only problem I've had with the book. The complaints I've had of people not being able to finish them or not liking them is that they cannot handle those dark themes in the book, which is includes abuse, third world level abuse, that some people find unpleasant. But this book is about overcoming those uh, bad things in life, which are extremes. So it was necessary for me to write, to go that far, because the book is called Obsidian because it's named after the volcanic rock that once broken, it becomes an incredibly sharp weapon. So the contrast is there for a reason. So if you want to pick it up, be prepared to handle those themes, because this is not based on a first world society that most of my readers live in. I live in Thailand. Like my mates when I was young had to marry at 12 or 14 and was forced to marry by their mother, because I got like a few mates had to go back to marry. And there are all sorts of things, those kind of things that happen in third world countries that you don't live with in real life. I do. I know how those people handle it. I want to write about how those people can still smile every day. They can still continue every day despite being having gone through that. So Obsidian is that level dark, but there's a lot of light in it from seeing people who have survived. You will see strength, incredible strength of all these people, but it's not a happy fantasy. I don't have, if you have minor, allergies and stuff, you may not be able to survive this book. So that is a warning that I have to say. It's not just dark. It's not just dark in the way like, oh, there's a lot of deaths. I kill dogs and stuff. It's worse than that.
But again, so well written though. So, and thank you for that Sienna. Vaughn.
Oh, let me grab my books. Okay, I wrote Sunder Nation Trilogy, which begins with The Severing Sun and continues with, wrong order, Bold Ascension, and is complete with Destiny's Doom.
Books.
By the way, Bold Ascension just came out as an audiobook within the last couple weeks. So first two books are available as audiobooks, and we're going to be doing the third one as well. My narrator, Alex Wingfield, is just a phenomenal performer for audiobook fans. I recommend you give it a listen or give it a try at least, or listen to the sample. I think he just does a phenomenal job. He won me over like almost instantly when I heard him. He does. I have scenes in book 2 with 7 speaking roles, all with different accents.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah, he really, it's just what a coup. When I heard, I knew that scene was coming, and I was listening to the proof, and I was like, oh, I don't know if he's going to be able to pull this off. Man, you can distinctly tell who's speaking throughout it. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah. So that's just a plug for my new audiobook. I'm working on books 4 through 6, which feature the next generation of these characters. I'm about 60 or 70% of the way through book 4. Hopefully that'll be out within a year. So I really want to get this right. So I started out as a pantser too, Sienna, and I kind of want to make sure that because I'm changing so many things in it that I want that I can thread the needle all the way through before I release book 4. So that's coming. It's coming. So hopefully those who finish the trilogy will stick with me. But thanks to people like PL who keep me on the stage. I really appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Right back at you. But where can we find you on social media, Vaughn?
Oh, I'm primarily on Instagram these days. I am still on Twitter or X or whatever it is called now. I go there periodically, so if you're trying to reach me there, I will see it eventually. And I do check in, I would say at least weekly on Twitter, but I'm on Instagram pretty much every day. Feel free to follow me there. I try to do mostly, I'm about 50-50 book content there. And I also am a big dog lover, so you'll see my young black lab. I have a 9-month-old black puppy, so she's heavily featured on Instagram. If you like dogs, you'll like that content.
Well, the Ala's husband's dog.
That's my dog. Yeah.
In the background.
Come here.
Man,
Come here.
beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
gorgeous. Hi.
Hey.
Listen, watch all the 6 Elementals interviews with all these wonderful people that I have the privilege to talk to. But Sienna's, she's got. I'm not even going to spoil it. Sienna has her pets. Some of them that come on the show. So I'm not even going to spoil.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
So they're beautiful.
They're usually behind me. That's their cage. But right now, they've been making a bit too much noise in the morning, so I have to put them inside in a small cage to sleep in, so they're not there. Otherwise, it would be over my shoulder watching us.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. So yeah,
Yeah, so
watch all my 6 interviews with all these wonderful people. Again, I'm PL Stewart. Quickly for me, 6 interviews on this channel where I get to speak to marvelous people, marvelous authors, people in the community, editors, booktubers, etc., such as LL, Sienna, and Vaughn. I'm so humbled and honored that I get to do that. Also, with my incredible colleague Taylor from Maybe to the Pages. Check out her YouTube channel. We are part of the Page Chewing umbrella. We do another interview feature called Page Chewing. Um, the books, plstewart.com is the website. Mostly on all the social media platforms is at PL Stewart Writes, Twitter, Instagram, X slash whatever it is, Blue Sky. The books, 7 book series, currently working on the Drowned Kingdom saga, 6 books out. The most recent book is The Black Dragon on Red. The 7th book, entitled Sure Steel, will be coming early in 2027 to complete the saga. And then I'm going back into time to do several prequel trilogies and then a subsequent 7-book series. And then standalones. So busy person. But yeah, best known for perhaps this bad boy. First book of the series, A Drowned Kingdom, and authoring a flawed character who may or may not be on a redemption arc, who is definitely considered unlikable by the vast majority of people who read them. You know, these wonderful authors have been so giving me the time, getting up early again for Vaughn and LL, and staying up late for Sienna. Thank you so much. You've been so wonderful with your time. Folks, I am a huge fan of these authors. I can't encourage you enough to read their works. You will find something really special if you delve into the world of Dreampree, Obsidian, and Sundered Nation. They are some of my favorite fantasy books out there. I have to update my ranking of individual fantasy books and series on the indie side, the traditional buffer side, but all these also would figure prominently on any list that I put out. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the reviews on Goodreads of these books. Check out the BookTube, stuff out there on these authors' works. These are authors who are lauded, and their acclaim is only growing. And I think when you think about indie fantasy, as we go forward in the next growing years, you're going to see like these names are going to keep coming up again. L.L. Steven, Sienna Frost, Von Roycroft as being fabulous authors.
so
Are. The blessed thing about them is that they're even better people. And again, I'm very privileged to speak
Back
to
at you.
today. Thank you, sir. So that's it from us. Thank you for watching this special 6 elementals on unlikable characters. Hope you found 3 authors that they write unlikable characters in a really fascinating, compelling way. So if you like unlikable characters, check out their books. So that's it from us for now. We're signing off, and we'll